What's going on, my babies? Welcome back to another episode of The Spiritual Word. As always, I apologize for any noises in the background in advance and anything of that nature. And also, I like to start these off with a disclaimer by stating that these are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research to come to your own conclusions, to have your own answers, to make your own decisions. And I believe in your ability to do so, to be your own person. And I'm sorry if you can hear my fan. I'm trying a new, the software that I use to record my podcast on. They changed their whole platform completely, so now you can't even record from the platform itself, which is kind of annoying, but I'm trying out a new software, so sorry if the audio is absolute dog shit, but we do what we can. So also, I'm sorry for not uploading Friday. I had stuff to do on that previous Thursday, and then I went out that Thursday, so I was just in not the best position. It wasn't anything bad. There's nothing bad, but I just missed that because I was doing things back to back to back. So I didn't get to upload that Friday, or last Friday, which I apologize for. But, I'm back, and it was just a day. And so yesterday I was thinking about, I don't remember exactly what I was thinking about, but I've been having this reoccurring thought, this reoccurring thing that I want to talk about. I can't put my finger on it right now. It's totally slipped my mind, but it has something to do with manifesting. So I feel like if I just talk about that, it'll slowly come back to me. So that's what I'm going to do. And also, before I start these, I have an audio version of the podcast anywhere you can find audio podcasts, and I have a video version of the podcast on YouTube. They're both named The Spiritual Word. I'm your host, Jackie. I upload Monday through Friday, or at least I try to, at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And if science, psychology, spirituality, self-help, philosophy, and psychology are things you're interested in, I think I might have said that twice. I don't even know. But if those are things you're interested in, then I recommend subbing or following whatever platform you're finding me on. So, sorry, I just totally tapped my mic. So, I'm just going to talk about manifestation, and hopefully what I was thinking about will slowly come back to me. So, what I was thinking about, I don't exactly remember. Let's just talk about manifestation. So, the other day, a while back, I think this also has to do with it. So a while ago, I was thinking about the songs that I was listening to, and I'm always thinking about manifestation. It's one of my favorite things to contemplate and just to think about. It's something that my mind just naturally goes back to, just because it's such an interesting topic to me. And so I was doing my thing, driving home really, really late or really early in the morning, and I was thinking about the songs that I was listening to, and I always talk about Big Sean and how he's one of my big people. That's somebody that I really go back to over and over again. I can never get tired of his music. And in one of his songs, he talks about the lessons that he learns, and he talks. Oh, a lot of people do that, where they talk about the lessons that they learn, and they'll say it in a way that makes it seem like it was advice given to them. But in fact, I genuinely think that most of the time these are just their own thoughts, and they're portraying them in a story-like way, so you listen to it in a story-like manner, or so that it sounds more clear and concise than them just spewing thought after thought after thought. And so a lot of the times, a lot of people who do music, they'll be like, oh, my mama always said this, or my daddy always said this, or my mom and dad taught me this. And I genuinely think that it's not even, I don't want to say that this is the case for every single event, right? Because it's not. But I genuinely think that some of those lines are their own thoughts, their own guidance, their own natural guidance system that's being created through their everyday experiences and their everyday lessons. And so in their lessons, they learn these things, and they say, oh, my mom taught me this, my dad taught me this. Or when they look back, or when they reflect on these said things, they talk about, oh, my mom taught me this, my dad taught me this, right? They look at it from a later perspective in life, and that's where they get that line. And so I was thinking to myself, manifestation is just hope for something that you might not get because you hope for the best. Or no, I think it was Panic at the Disco has a song where they High High Hopes. I really don't like that song. I love Panic at the Disco, but that song really annoys me. I don't know why. I think it's just like the fact that it's super duper hyped up for no reason. Sorry, I just touched my mic again. Not that it's hyped up for no reason, because I do think that it has like a really good rhythm to it, which is why everybody loves it so much, and because the topic that it talks about is so upbeat. Like, it's such a happy song. It's such a positive song. And I just don't like that it was like super duper hyped. You know, like everybody really, really loves that song and overplays it. And I think that's what I don't like about it, that it's just so overplayed. But in that song, the lead singer has a line where it goes, I had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't have something. Always knew I was going to be that one in a million, had to have high hopes. And that's literally how to manifest. Like, every single person that has ever chased or pursued something that was bigger than themselves, aka like starting a business or doing something that seems to not work out for the majority of people, they had to do that in order to be where they are. You have to bet on yourself in order to get wherever you're trying to be. And so that's what I was thinking about. And I was thinking about manifestation in that regards, where like, that's the point. You believe in yourself before nobody does. And then I came up with this line for a song that me and my friend had written together. And I mean, like, written but not written together. Like, we make songs. I don't write for her, she doesn't write for me, but we write songs together, and then we'll put our verses together. So my friend was like, oh, I have a song for us. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. I'm literally thinking about lyrics as I'm driving home. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then I go home and I write down this one bar where it's like, I had to, my mom always told me to believe in myself before you feel me, before you understand me. And so that's what I was thinking about in the regards of manifestation. And then I had like this little breakthrough moment. And I feel like that's what, not that that's what enlightenment is, but I feel like that's what enlightenment is trying to point you to. And what all of those, you know, like Buddhist teachings and religious teachings and like philosophy and metaphysics and quantum mechanics is trying to get you to see. It's trying to get you to see this other world that's right in front of you, literally right in front of you, that you never look at. And so I was thinking about all those things, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't exactly remember what I was thinking about when I had that breakthrough moment, but it inspired me to talk about this said thing for this episode, just because it's like, I feel like a lot of people, they have a lot of trouble when it comes to betting on themselves, which I believe, yeah, it's fair, because there's always that fear of like those things not working out. But if you're really dedicated to making this work for yourself, then it's going to work, and there's no way that you can fail, because you're not making room for that. And manifestation is quite literally, what are you making room for in your life right now? If you constantly complain, you're making room for complaints. If you constantly, you know, hate on other people, you're making room for hate. If you constantly love other people and are generous to other people, that's what you're making room for. And a lot of the times you might not see it that way, because you're sorting and sifting. And so you think, whatever I don't like, I should, you know, push that away, push that away, push that away. And you think you're doing that by saying, ew, 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 I don't like that. But instead of saying, ew, 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 I don't like that, you should just ignore that, because you don't want to see it. And not necessarily ignore it, because honestly, that's really, really hard. And I hate when people are like, oh, just ignore it. Or when people piss you off, just ignore it. Because genuinely, it annoys the shit out of me when people say that. but you have to find ways to not make that your everything. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the times we'll hit one little tiny bump in the road and we say, oh, you know what, that's it. Like, literally today, when I checked the software update for the way that I upload my podcast, and it was a different software, like completely different software where you cannot record from the platform itself. I was like, oh, that's my sign to stop making podcasts and only make the videos. Because to me, it's going to be way easier to just make a video than it is to just do this. So I was like, oh, fuck that. I'm not going to do that. And then I was like, you know what? It's not that deep. You know, like, I could just do this. It's a very, very simple thing. I just record from a different software. It's not that deep, you know? And, you know, depending on the type of person you are, that could have, like, been your last try. You're like, oh, fuck that. You know, like, fuck this. This is the universe's way of saying fuck you. You know? And a lot of people, they could take that in the sense of like, oh, I started my own business and like it never took off, or I started my own business and I went bankrupt and, you know, shit just hit the fan and shit just doesn't work and blah, blah, blah. I think that a lot of the times you learn the most lessons in the beginning stages because you're preparing yourself. And it's 11-11 as I say that. You run into the most problems when you're starting because, one, you literally don't know what you're doing. So, of course, you're going to run into problems because you've never been here before. And two, you experience problems so that you never go through them again. You put your hand on this hot stove so that you know the next time that there's not going to be no next time, because you're going to make sure that there's not no next time. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by that. But that's what you have to keep in mind when it comes to certain manifestations and stuff like that, because things are going to take time, and you know, shit doesn't just fall in your lap, quotation marks, but in a way it does fall in your lap if you allow it to fall in your lap, if you make room for it to fall in your lap, and if you're really in tune with everything that's going on around you, because there is another world that you can't see, and that world that you can't see is literally right in front of you. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And when I looked down at my recording, it was 12:12. So, you know, take this as you will. You know, take this with a grain of salt. And I'm going to end this here. Thanks for tuning in and tapping in. And as always, my babies, I appreciate you and I thank you for being here. And I'm sorry for not uploading Friday, but I'm back. And I'm going to try my best to upload on time this week. So yeah, thanks for tuning in and tapping in. And I'll see you in the next one.